want to thank everyone on the call right now for joining me for this short sale lead machine mastermind agent webinar. That's a mouthful. This is Mike Leakenauger, the Director of Operations with the Short Sale Specialist Network. Joining me is Lee Honish, the one, the only.
Like I'm a legend, like a bizarre legend on some level. Wow.
Well, we've got you on echo mode. See if you could maybe, I might want to, I think we probably got reverb. Maybe you're listening to me talk, or I don't know what it could be, but that was.
Yeah, hold on. I got to click the telephone button. My bad. There we go.
That's all much better. How you doing today, Lee?
My bad. Like I've never done a webinar before.
Oh, you're fading out a little bit there. We should be able to hear Lee. Lee, before we get started, let's a couple quick housekeeping things here. Me and Lee are just going to kind of rap about short sales and talk some stuff for a little while. Now, if you're on the call here, you should be able to see my screen right now. We're going to run you through some different stuff and just talk about short sales and things like that. A couple things I want to mention to you about upcoming short sale mastermind agent webinars we have. 2 weeks from today, on the 5th, mark it on your calendar, we have Joel and Michelle McClintock out of Palm Beach County. Now, Michelle McClintock is the resident short sale expert for Harris Real Estate University. Many of you guys know her. 2 weeks after that, December 19th, Wednesday as well, same time, we have Marie Chung. Marie is the #1 agent in sales volume in the entire state of California last year, along with Vanessa Liddell. Vanessa is one of the original CDPE trainers. She trained over 8,000 CDPEs in that designation as well. So that's the 19th. You can register for both of those things on theshortsaleguide.com, www.theshortsaleguide.com. And you'll see right on the home page, or also if you click under the blog tabs, you can register for them. So let's go ahead and get started. Without further ado, guys, I give you Lee Honish. Lee, tell us a little bit about yourself, your history in the industry, who you are, what you're doing nowadays, and what you've accomplished in your career.
Sure. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lee Honish. I am the former head loss mitigator for IndyMac Bank's HELOC division. I did that until the year 2007, and remarkably, I've been deemed the godfather of all short sales, big and small, sort of. That's sort of the niche that everybody gave me, which I think is kind of funny. I've been an REO, asset manager, career property manager. I started in the late 80s. I went through the first cycle of property downturn and liquidation of assets back then. Wound up working and doing assets for Beneficial of California. I worked for Homecomings, who then got bought out, and I worked for GMAC Homecomings. Worked for a property, it's just a typical asset management company like all of you guys want to get. I did that job once too. I worked as a residential developer for a short period of time, and during that time, in around 2002 or 3, there was like a lull in the action where things started to flatten out, and I thought, you know what, things in real estate don't look really good, and they're not accelerating, and the prices are kind of strange, and I don't know what's really going on. Perhaps I should consider, and this is after me working as a very successful residential developer and doing real estate and things of that nature, I decided to go back to work for the banks. I went to Indymac, and I started off as an asset manager in the home construction lending division as an asset manager. And what happened was I enjoyed it a lot. I forgot how much I actually enjoyed being an asset manager and doing that kind of work, and I did that for a while as they were making no-doc construction sale loans that were quite fantastically bad. I mean, they were really bad. I mean, my running joke, the worst file I ever looked at back in 2005 or 6 or whenever I started, 3 or 4 or whenever, they were giving no-doc $700,000 subject to completion loans to hairdressers in Colorado to build out mansions and things of that nature. And my job basically at that point was to come in and to fix these properties or get as much money back. That's what an asset manager is at the end of the day. I basically, my career is 22 years of being an actuary, more or less, of understanding numbers and percentages and knowing how to extract the highest yield reward from a situation. I mean, I always say this, even when I coach now, my job is to get the highest reward for the people that I coach. That's my function, that's my job, that's what I'm always about at the end of the day. So what happened, home construction lending kind of went in a different direction, and they weren't really, the construction loans started to fade out right around 2005, 6, and I made a switch over to the HELOC division. And I worked in servicing for a former boss who needed some help. And I walked into the situation, and they actually had hired me just to work in the servicing group and to help them out because I was an asset manager. I had the background, and I had the ability to extract money on people who didn't pay. And while I was walking through at that point, they were experiencing something very unique back in 05, 06, which was they were noticing that there was a negative equity position on their HELOCs, like they were losing money. And in those days, it wasn't bad. There was still enough money to pay off the first, and the second was only getting a partial payoff. It's not like it is now, like 300% underwater, 400% underwater. These are the days where it's just starting to happen, okay? And this is like Detroit and Cleveland. And I came in, and they're showing these files to me, and my first gut reaction was, well, where are your asset managers? Where's your asset management team? They go, what are you talking about? That's a separate division. They do REOs. And I said, no, you need asset managers to come in and to teach you guys that this isn't about collection. This is really about asset reclamation, right? How do we get back as much money as we can, write it off, move forward? And that was around the early days and the early phases of short sales. And at the banks, per se, most people don't know this, but the early days of short sales in 2006-ish, most short sale processing was just servicing groups kind of muddling their way through it out of service centers or otherwise. And there'd be one or two guys in each division who kind of made decisions. And they ultimately, we were the guys who started writing sort of the manuals on how to do short sales. One of the most shocking things that I had to do was write the original, manual for Indymac, now One West, on how to collect. And it's funny to me this day when people tell me they have problems with One West and how they're operating, and I look at them and they're still using almost verbatim the exact style for running short sales that I left behind when I left the company. What basically happened was I started to do them, and they came in fast and like it went from, okay, there's a few, to, okay, now there's 100, to now they're coming in all the time. You got to hire staff. I'm screaming at agents. I've now got an office because I'm scaring everybody on the floor. It's now a full-time gig. It's now a full-time. I've got underwriters reviewing files. I mean, this thing is completely out of control. And a friend of mine down in San Diego, who was a really struggling real estate agent, came to me and asked me for some help on a short sale file. He had spent something like $12,000 on short sale trainers. And for those of you that remember back to 2007, you think that there are people and coaches who take advantage of the market and sell crazy things. In 2007, the things that people sold on short sales, because I saw them from the bank side, were literally astoundingly crazy, okay? I mean, like, bizarrely, like, off the chain crazy. And so this guy asked me to come in. And for those that don't know, the company was Short Sale Genius. I helped start the company and go out and teach people. But I went in on a Saturday, and I said, well, you're doing it all wrong. And I went up to a whiteboard, and I said, here's how a bank does it. We use these calculations. We really know what the actual value is. Here's where we lie to you. Here's where we tweak it, blah, 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 blah. And he tells the title rep, and that title rep tells the title rep who tells the boss, and the next thing you know, you're in front of 1,000 people. And the next thing you know, in this kind of line of work, when you have unique information, I'm now making more money being a short sale coach or a trainer on the weekends doing 1 or 2 seminars than I'm making at the bank. And I always think it's funny because I know Tony Rosales from REO Warrior, who's another former asset manager. And we were at a trade show once, and a guy walked over to me and he said, is it true that asset managers and people in your positions only make, around $60,000 plus a year plus bonuses? I said, that's all we make. That's college degree. That's knowing your stuff. The best you're ever going to make is in the 75 range. Maybe you aspire and become a VP and make 100,000. And when you look at the real estate field and how much money you can make with like such a limited background, I mean, let's be brutally honest about the kind of money you can make with a high school diploma.
Lee, I'll be the first one to admit that you could do pretty good in real estate without the biggest education. But you got to remember this: if you're an asset manager now, there are perks to the job, such as incentives from agents and things like that, right?
I have a joke about that because I go to 5-Star and I go to all these events, and I hang out with the asset managers. I'm actually envious of the asset managers at 5-Star and IndyMac and all those events. I really am, because I would be one of those guys at those events. They are wined and dined and romanced by anybody looking for an REO or a lead or anything. And I admit it, in the day when I did short sales, it was the same way. Agents would send me lunch. They would thank me. They would send gifts. And if it was below, we never took monetary things, but we'd always take food or things of that. It always happened. Okay, agents always want to get into the good grace. And it's great. It has perks. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even going to remotely lie. One of the early things that I always taught people, and you guys can hate me for saying it all you want, generally speaking, the people who mitigate files are male, okay, at a bank. They're generally male, and most of the bosses are generally male. Why women who don't negotiate short sale files have a cheesecake Facebook photo set up for some pathetic guy in a call center working on a short sale file just to make them believe that you're interested in them, you're crazy, because that's just the nature of the game. Those guys, you're building a relationship when you're on the phone, and if they can put a face to it and they believe it's something even if it isn't, I'm going to tell you it's going to close faster. I'm not going to lie about that situation.
Absolutely.
That's the reality.
I could agree with you more. The short sale processors and negotiators at these banks are your best friends. I don't care if they're underpaid, overworked, and all that, but treat them like royalty. They'll get your files done quicker.
So the quick story is, so I go out on the road, and I'm now making more, and Indymac actually starts to fold up, and I take advantage of an opt-out when I still had a stock option, which makes me look like a flippin' genius at this moment, because I walked out with stock and still a 401k before they went completely belly up. And I went out on the road, and I started, and the reason most of you know me or know about me, terms like escalation or the word mitigator or any of those things, I'm the guy who really went out and paved the road, and I think right now my count is at 700 seminars plus on short sales over the last several years. I think the count is now well over 60 or 70. I've lost track now. We're in the 60, 70,000 real estate agent range. I currently have what we call in the business a list of 10,000 of the top people in the industry that are part of my blogs and my boards, and that get information from me from my podcast or whatever. I personally coach a couple of hundred of agents that they're not just the tops, they're the top 1% of the 1%, and they're all very big followers. And what happened, I worked for this company, Short Sales Genius, for a period of time, and a couple of years ago, I left them. I wasn't a big fan, and I'm always honest about it, I'm not a big fan of systems and approaches that seem to be more about the benefit of the company than the client. That's the way I operate. My benefit, if I charge somebody money, there's going to be a return on investment, one way or the other. You're going to get some kind of value out of it. And what I've discovered out of most all of the companies that are out there, when you look at the bottom line seems to benefit the trainer or the guru or the coach or the system. There's no value, to the client. There's no 150% money back guarantee. I always make the joke about Kiyosaki because he's not really in our business. You buy Kiyosaki stuff, you are really, and I've met people who've made his stuff work, but by and large, I know people who have garages of giant boxes who've spent tens of thousands of dollars for a product that doesn't work because it doesn't apply. It's not real time. And so when I went out on my own, I did a couple of things. I built new relationships with several companies. I created an advocacy program because I don't think that Realtors can just walk up to a door anymore and call themselves realtors. And I created certified default advocacy training, which is my brainchild. It's a trademark. And I did one other thing. I was playing golf one day, and that's really the point of this call, Mike. I was out playing golf one day, and I was already telling my agents, here's how you go get listings. Stop this yellow line pad crap, and stop, you know, opening the phone book and cold calling. I don't care what guru told you to open a phone book and read a script. And if you've gotten results, good for you. I mean that on the call. I'm not here to badmouth whatever angle you came up with, right? If it gets you a result, it gets you a result, all right? I had a premise in my mind that somebody laid out for me. Is it possible to cherry pick data, say 15 or 20 homeowners, and identify them, and then to put them into something that's called a permission-based funnel? And so for some of you, you don't understand. There's two types of marketing, interruptive and permission-based funneling. Basically, a bank does what's called interruptive. They just keep blasting a message, and they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. For those of you who don't really even understand that, it's a television commercial, all right? McDonald's is building brand recognition by hitting you in the face multiple times with the same product over and over and over again until you're worn down and you're desperate and you're driving somewhere between California and San Francisco, and the only thing open is a McDonald's. You're going to stop at McDonald's. It's got brand recognition. You might not like the food, but the food's always the same, and that's the way it works. I wanted to create something that was different, and so I had created this idea, and I put it out to my coaching group, and my coaching group, someone that I was coaching at the time basically told me, and it was very hard for me, this was about 18 months ago over a golf course. They said, you know what, Lee, you're no different than every other coach that you make fun of. You know, I guess I get the rep. I'll say it openly on this call. I get the rep of being the guy who's honest in the room. I'll talk about the other coaches. I'll talk about the programs and the letters and the everything. And this person looked at me and said, you're no better than they are. And it really hurt me because it was somebody that I cared a great deal about and loved who told me this. It devastated me internally. And so what I did is I went out. I started in Arizona. I went out to Arizona. I had a client out there. I said, I'm going to go do this work, and you're going to be the person who benefits from it. And I went out and used every single technique that you guys have been told to do. I started with drops on doors. I started with letters. I did all of these different, you name it, I tried it, okay? And you know what? If that's how you're doing your marketing, I don't blame you for being completely and utterly frustrated. I would be too. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I knew that there had to be a better way. So I talked to a lot of people who do a lot of marketing for a living and charge people. In fact, there are people I mean this sincerely, there are people in my coaching group who use my current marketing system that are big-time marketers, and I made them sign non-disclosure agreements so that they could use it in their own personal businesses. I didn't want them reselling it because the idea was so strong. I wanted to create something where if I knew there were 20 homeowners, and in fact, I just did a call with my coach group. I told them to go on Foreclosure Radar and get 18 auction dates, okay? People that are going to be due up for an auction within the next 30 to 45 days. I have a technique that I developed, tested, and now have run over the last year and a half that allows that homeowner to contact me and set up an appointment with me. So now it's permission-based, right, Mike? So now I have permission to come over and talk to you. And now I get 90 seconds of face-to-face time, and I can make that first initial reaction, and I can help them, and I can start planting the seeds. Then the next big problem for everybody on the call, and we're going to get to all the issues because actually Mike has one of the solutions in his own products. And the next problem is you guys don't follow up. You have no web presence. It's funny, I get love mail and hate mail. I get both. I don't lie about it. People who think that I'm too over the top or that I'm arrogant or whatever, you know, whatever. I'm very real and honest about me and my life, and you should have that reaction from people in your community about you. I mean this sincerely. You should have people who love you and hate you. You know why? That means you're unique. That means you're doing something special. You're touching a core audience. You're creating a tribe. You've become a very unique creature in the wilderness. there are too many agents who are just stuck on being average. This was an average agent, and I'll tell you why. I took this guy's name, I didn't know who he was, and I took his email address and I stuck it into a Google search, and I couldn't find his website. I have no idea who this guy is. He didn't even come up. In fact, I ran his name. He had a fairly common name. Didn't come up. I added the word real estate. His name still didn't come up. I added more variables and more variations, and I could never find this guy's website or what this guy did for a living. I'm telling you this. You put in my name, you're going to jump right onto my website. You put in Mike's name, you're going to jump right onto the network. You're going to jump right onto his business page. Web presence as part of this coupling is so incredibly important, which lets me develop.
Huge.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, you know, the way I got started in the industry is, a lot of you guys know, as an agent myself, is I learned internet marketing and search engine optimization. Lee, at one point, I had literally every single solitary spot on the first page of the search engine for any term related to short sales in my area. And I still today, you know, I look at this and, you know, just type in that term, this is my site here, this is my site here. Look at it. Below that, we have the maps listings. 3 of these are mine. That's me, that's me, that's me. And almost everything else on this page is me. That's a blog of mine. This is a blog of mine. This is a YouTube video, back page ad. Most of the stuff is me. And I'll tell you what, learning that, Lee, you're absolutely right. That has afforded me alone, just on internet marketing, since 2007, I keep an inventory of 50 to 100 short sale listings at a time. And like Lee was touching on too, because I have systems developed, like the stuff that Lee does, I haven't talked to a buyer or seller in 2 or 3 years, period. I don't even do real estate. I haven't in a long time. I do the Short Sale Specialist Network and have 50 to 100 listings at a time because I have a team set up, I have systems, and most importantly, I have a presence, but I have a machine, you know. And that's what it's about, right? And when you agree, Lee, you got to create a machine. You got to create a monster. Machine.
Here's how simple it really becomes, okay? I tell agents that they have to make up their mind what they do for a living, and I think everybody gets it wrong. People tell me I'm a real estate agent, or even they'll tell me, you know, even people, I'm sure all of you have seen this even on the network, or you've seen it where people are calling themselves homeowner advocates. Those are usually people that I coach or people that I train with the CDAT logo. People are moving towards that advocacy thing. Hey, great, you're an advocate. That's not what your job is. Your job is to be a marketer. Your service is you're an advocate. Your service is you're a mitigator. Your service is you're an escrow person. Your service is you're a title person. Your job at the end of the day is to do marketing. And if you're not going to do marketing for your service, then you need to hire someone to do it for you, simply put. And I got to the point of 18 months of developing this. I can now say with surety, I'm literally working on a program right now where, and it won't be ready for a couple more months because I want it completely tested, but I'll float it out there. It's going to premiere at REOCon. I am going to premiere a one-of-a-kind thing for the very first time. I'm going to get people listings. I'm going to actually go and be able to get people listings on demand. All you have to do is sign the listing agreement. That's really literally how this will break down. And it's funny that you have the short sale lead machine and talking about these packages. Because again, I saw this and it's a part of my Vortex training funnel because it's just such a simple thing. You need 3 things if you want to get listings, and I cannot stress this enough. If you click on Vortex Login from there, right there where it says Login.
And my list is on Honish.com.
Honish.com, click on, you'll see a Vortex link at the top. Click on Vortex Login. You guys can log in and go use it, and the password is Vortex Marketing. I want everybody on this call to go and use it. Knock yourself out. Have a party. You are going to see funnel number 2 that I think all of you have to have. If you scroll down, I even give you the education on that page. It's really, 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 really super simple, step by step. I have put together and compiled all of the links that you need to have to be able to convert people, and let's call it what it is, getting people off of loan modifications. All right? At the end of the day, to get a short sale listing, you got to get around loan modifications. All right? We can spin it however we want. The first thing you'll see is how interruptive marketing works. It's a great video by the guy who actually developed that and how permission marketing works. And then a very funny video of people on YouTube who don't have a clue. The next thing you'll find on that list are how to go and get, you can buy leads from Cherry Pick Leads, you can use Foreclosure Radar, and how to do a FedEx drop. I'm giving away a really good technique, okay? Even if you put a message, an advocacy package together, or a loan mod book or a short sale book into a FedEx envelope and put it on somebody's door, they're going to open it, right? That's going to have a high open rate. And the further you go down, you'll see that you need to have, right below that, and I also show how the monster works. There's also a video on that. But this is all permission-based marketing, right? So as you go down, I recently worked with Blue Dragon, and if you go to this page, you can try out text messaging. Because if you have an open, I'm sure you do this, right? You got the text and the QR codes, right, Mike?
I'm behind in some of that, Lee. But,
oh, wow. Okay, so if you were to click on Blue Dragon, it takes you to a special where you can try it out for a month for $1. I build relationships with people where people have the opportunity to go and try products out there cheap. And then it teaches you how to do web presence below that.
Oh, on your thing, okay. That's the Blue
Dragon
on the
Vortex. No, yeah, by the way, that'll get you like I think it's $1 for a month. But I'm going to show you guys what Mike and I already know. I'm going to bring you up to speed super fast, right? If you look above, it'll show you how to do the Google, the keyword search, setting the alerts, looking on Alexa. If you're on a website right now, go on Alexa and look at your numbers, okay? That'll tell you if you're getting traffic.
Compete.com is another really good one as well. Compete.com is similar to Alexa, but very good accurate data on there too.
Yeah, they both, yeah, I like them both, and I look at them both. If you get to that point, and I just haven't done it, but I believe both of the click here links to build the website, even the first, like line 1 for a $1 website, that's Mike's link. Okay, yeah. I can't stress that enough. How do you beat getting your own WordPress website for $1? I mean, that's just crazy to me.
Dude,
okay?
Man.
If they don't
we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit, but
that makes me insane. You need a
well,
website.
we lose money on them. We lose money on the deal. You know, it's like the low price loser Black Friday deals. You know, but they know you're going to keep it and stick around and enjoy the product. And you know where it's really at with all that stuff, Lee, is I'm sure you'll agree. Is look, you started to touch on this, and this is what your system is getting into too. Is you can have a website, but if it's nothing and it isn't doing anything on the search engines, or you don't market it or get it out there, what good is it going to do anybody?
Oh, I agree. And then if you get really crazy about this, I mean, I got excited. I was at dinner the other night, and Mike is probably the only one on the call who would appreciate this. My personal website, Honish.com, just got upgraded to a PR2. As a sole proprietor who doesn't do a blog or a forum or some kind of high-volume thing, to be bounced up to a PR2 level, it's huge. That's like double your search engine criteria overnight. You are, I can't even begin to tell you what that does for your business, what it does for me. I am excited when I find agents who are out looking for short sale information or marketing information that happen onto my site for the first time. And it's because it's called a Google page ranking. And everybody starts off not even as a 0. You don't have a rank. I mean, that's how degrading Google is about this. They don't give you a 0. They give you nothing. And if you stay at it long enough, you go to a 1.
You go to a 0 first.
Yeah, that's right. You go from a nothing to a 0. You get a 1. And then, look, for me to go up to a 2, I almost what? It was that big a deal to me at dinner. I was looking at champagne out for the table. That's for a guy who I've learned the hard way what Mike's done for $1. I had to physically go out and do it and build it for people and do it the hard way. And then Mike came along and he's like, yeah, I do the exact same thing. It's for $1 and it works. I'm like, you suck. Honestly, in the back of my mind, I'm like, you suck. I got to be honest, because it spent me like a year of learning SEO and learning how to do, and you can go onto the website and I've got all those back-end techniques. You can take Mike's site and you can learn like the WordPress code that allows you to get keyword density. All those videos are there because I did it all the hard way. And then I went a step further. I actually listened to a lot of audio. Every marketing book that's out there I consume like a beast. And I got a book by a guy who does a lot of web marketing. And he actually went through it and outlined on this book every single free or nearly free marketing technique to push your message forward. And on the marketing resource page, on that Vortex page, you will find everything that will work to help get your message out. It really pains me, and I'm sure it pains Mike, as we've talked about this. People who charge $300 to work on your Facebook and YouTube page, that's just, it's completely insane to me.
Wait, Robert, it is. I mean, look, we do Facebook fan pages, Google Maps listings, all the marketing of your site for, God, just a few $100. But I mean, we include like tons of stuff, custom written content.
No, even
and
at your gold package, even at your gold package for everything that you include, right? It's still ridiculously. I mean, it's just ridiculous compared to what people out in the industry are charging. $300 per month to Facebook and YouTube
page or something.
We've seen them at the trade shows. I saw a guy. I'm not even making this up. The NAR show last year in Anaheim, there was a guy who was posting up agent YouTube videos for $150 a month. His gift when you signed up was basically a $25, like a $50 flip video camera. And I'm talking to the guy, and he talks to people like they're morons, which for me is always entertaining when somebody does that, because I'll call them on their crap. I'm like, so basically you post videos. No, we do really serious SEO. You don't have to. It's Google. I mean, there's a couple of tricks, but by and large, there's no real trick other than putting a video on YouTube. I've even coached people, you don't even have to go that far. YouTube has made it so simple that you can use your webcam and just record a message straight into your computer once a day based on a repetition model to get you to where you need to be. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me. And when people look at that, like, say your YouTube page, and people go, well, you only got 40 hits. Yeah, but I got 40 hits the other day on that video, and I got 100 hits on that video. I don't know what message is ever going to resonate for people at the end of the day. And if you read all the top 10 books right now on marketing, and I mean this sincerely, all top 10 marketing books for 2012 are all web-based, social media, SEO, website, WordPress. And the reason Mike has WordPress, the reason I push WordPress, it's the fastest planting onto Google there is.
They automatically ping any content, any new posts, anything you put on your site. And pinging, I don't get all techie, but it's when, it basically tells the search engines over and over again, hey, there's new stuff on our site. So you can post something on your short sale lead machine, because it's WordPress themed, and it'll be up on the search engines the next day, right away, very quick.
You can't beat it. You just literally can't beat the speed for which it does it. So once I have that method in place, and you'll know this because you guys are all on one right now, you couple it with what I call an outreach program, right? Why aren't you using any meeting or GoToWebinar and, putting all your clients onto a call every couple of weeks and educating them about loan mods? So let's put it all together, and that's really what the Vortex and most of my marketing became. One, you need a direct campaign. Okay, I created the monster because it has this really ridiculous high response rate, and it works. Okay, you will get people. You can do door drops because that's what the Vortex does, because I know there are people on a budget. I will show you how to do the FedEx, whatever. Number two, you need a web presence. And for $1, I can't even stress it enough on this call, and for $1, you can start that. And I go back to the guy from last night. I wanted to research the guy that would write me a hate mail based on a blog I wrote, which was just about honest marketing yesterday, where I basically outlined everything I'm saying right here. I mean, this guy's upset clearly because I called him out to the car. Here's the truth. You guys have been door knocking, script reading, and what I call, hi, I'm awesome, hire me methodology of trying to get listings. That's not going to work in a default environment. Homeowners are too in tune to that. You have to walk in there as an advocate, and you need permission to speak to them. You just can't cold call somebody. I see this to agents that I coach one-on-one. When you go home, are you looking at that mail? Are you looking at that giant 8.5 by 11 postcard? I mean, are you really taking callers at the door at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock at night? You're not. You're just not. Okay? And I love videos of people who put stuff on YouTube. Well, I've got this great script, and it's so rewarding when they walk out and actually talk to me on the porch. What's the last? I've been in real estate a long time, and I've done door knocking when I was in traditional real estate. I've never seen anybody walk outside onto their porch and be excited, and this is in the 90s, to be excited to talk to a realtor about the possibility of selling their home. I've never seen it. I've never had that experience. I've heard the experience of planting a seed, following up, and getting them, you know, when they're ready to sell or buy, to come back to me or someone else. But I have never in the history of real estate, and I don't care what anybody tells you or sells you, I've never seen somebody excited. And what I'm excited about with my program, the Monster program that I created, is that you actually start a dialogue on the correct terms. And you get these really high response rates because the marketing is so unique and so clever, and it's so outside the box. But if you don't have the web presence, in fact, it's funny that you were showing the advocate page, the CDAT page, right? The one back to the left, the Certified Default Advocacy Training, which any of you can go and sign up and take the test. If you click on Advocacy Begins, there's a drop-down. That big logo on the right that says, do you have a visitor, homeowner? Did you have a visitor? That's designed for me or for one of my agents. If they go to a home, right, they can now, you know, because we're now testing, and I'm doing this in markets where if a homeowner goes, they can go onto this page and they get the same information that they're getting at the door. You can set up your own website exactly the same way. You're basically looking at me running, you know, exact same stuff I tell people to go out and use. I don't tell people to go do something that I wouldn't do. You're looking at exactly what I'm doing at the door. I give people evergreen videos about being a default advocate. And the Monster creates what I call the opportunity, and you've got to get past 90 seconds. And the minute you leave that house, they're going to walk over to a computer, and they're going to look up your website. Now, you're not going to have a default advocate website. You're not going to have a Honish.com. You're not going to even have one of, you know, when they go to search you, whatever the last thing you put up is, that's going to be their impression of you. And I can't tell you how many people I've coached, Mike, and this is genuinely astounding to me. I coached one person who goes, you know, every time I go to the door, people hate me. Maybe you just don't understand how to market to this area, Lee. Maybe you don't understand the people in this area and how they you know, they're not. And I said, okay. And I sat her down in front of a computer, and I put her name into the computer, and I showed her a video of her at an investor event where she came off like a blood-sucking vampire. I said, that's why nobody wants to talk to you. That's the truth. At the end of the day, no matter how you boil it down, the internet is how people are going to perceive you. If you don't have that presence, forget trying to get them into the third funnel, which is, now I'm going to follow up, right? I'm going to send them an email. I'm going to use slide dial and leave them a message. I'm going to put them on a webinar. I'm going to go do a teaching session over at the local library. I tell everybody why you guys don't go to the local library and rent that space out and hand out flyers. There's a group in Vegas who use the local library. They now get every week 300 homeowners in about loan months. Let's say the drip rate is almost non-existent on that, all right, out of 300 people. Let's say they're only getting 1%. That's 3 listings a week on a $60 room. I don't even see the downside to that. I'm not a mathematician, but there's an attorney, a CPA, and a short sale guy. And they have 300 people every week that show up at this Las Vegas library. And let's say they only get 3 to 6 people that actually want to do a short sale or a BK or need to talk to a tax person for their businesses to make sense for them to do that each week. If they're getting 1 or 2 leads per week from that event, it's through the roof. But again, they're also building the group as a whole. They're building what's called a herd, and they're following up, and they're bringing them back, and they're touching with them. And all of these things have to be in place.
Well, and also, too, in that same regards, too, when you put together a function like that and do a seminar, You know, you've now partnered with some of those BK attorneys, loan mod guys, and they'll refer stuff back to you after, of course, they don't work out for those situations. That's an outstanding lead capture tool, though. We encourage a lot of homeowners to do that, or agents to do that around the country. You know, homeowner advocacy seminars, and coordinate them, like Lee was saying. You know, get out of space, local library, community centers, things like that, and you'd be amazed how many people will come to those things just to kind of see what their options are. And they're outstanding ways to get a few leads with very little time, very little money spent on that. Lots of results. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
got to have something that works, right?
Right. And again, it's going to come down to one thing. You're going to put on an event, right? Let's say that you do it at your church, so the cost is free. You're just bringing in parishioners. They don't know you. They're going to go online and they're going to research you. Okay? Or let's say you're doing direct marketing. Let's say you're doing a door drop with the flyer, or a FedEx envelope, or you're using my Monster campaign. At the end of the day, at some point, they're going to research you in a technology. I can't begin to tell you. People say, Lee, you're really super smart. No, I pretty much Wikipedia everything before I talk these days. I mean, I walk around with a smartphone. If I have a question, I stick it into the search bar and I get a real answer from 3 different sources before I give, you know, any kind of opinion. Like the big thing, you know, the homeowner rights, or the new, you know, all these different things that come up. Before I even go to the source, I want to read what's on the web. Long before I talk to David Sunland at Bank of America and find out, oh, so you're switching your servicing. Okay, I need to know what the impact's going to be for people who do short sales, which, by the way, is now all but silenced. I mean, they came guns a-blazing that we're going to send out the servicing and you guys should expect your short sales to stop midstream. Obviously, there's a problem in the middle of that because it's become very silent. Because I'm in a unique position with the number of people that I coach, I look in the ebb and the flow of short sales, and I look at the marketing that's out there. And I'll say this straight up to everybody on the call. You can find a lead source. There's about 1 million lead sources out there. There are people who will get you Facebook clicks. There are people who will claim that they can get you an algorithm of people that will buy in the next 30 days based on cookies and stuff they're looking at in the local area. You know what? That's all BS. Because if you can't convert, it doesn't matter how good the lead is. I mean, that's just the bottom line. If you don't have an education program, if you don't have a website, if you don't have the Facebook, if you don't have the Twitter parts, if you don't have the YouTube videos of you educating, you are killing yourself. And again, I hate to quote everybody's book who's ever been written on marketing, this is a niche market, right? 80% of the agents out there, this is the bottom line, for realtors. NAR released the latest number. There are 1 million realtors, which is down dramatically. I don't care how they spin it. That's their number, not mine. There are 1 million realtors. Not over 1 million, they said 1 million realtors. Okay, this was on their last press release, which is dramatically down. Of those 1 million realtors, 800,000 of those realtors are just happy to get a referral and to get 6 listings per year. That's the math. That's real. That's accurate. That's why there's 300 agents in your office. If you really break down an area or something, the people who did 100 transactions all the way down to 50 or 60 transactions in a year, there's only about 25 people to a market or to a board that do those kind of numbers. You have a very unique opportunity because you can target on data, either through your title company, foreclosure radar, cherry pick leads, mailinglist.org, all of those guys, right? You can get unique data about homeowners that are in default. So it's a niche. All you need to know how to do is how do I get the face-to-face time? How do I create the relationship, right? Bundle it up with my web presence to back up my story, because now I'm building credibility. You don't have to have $1 million. My favorite right now is the book. Everybody's into the book. I got to have a book. Really?
Yeah, ebook.
The book. I got to have my $3,000 book. I'm going to go have a book signing. I got a book. You didn't write the book. I don't even know what gives you the stones to go do a book signing. I mean, I'm fascinated with everybody who's got a book. I got a book. It's free on my website, on my free marketing link. You can have a short sale book and a loan mod book for free and call it your own. It's my gift to you. the book isn't going to close the deal. It might create some level of credibility if you want to go to Vista Prints and put a cover on it. And I know that there are many coaches who claim that the book closes deals. The book cannot close the deal by itself.
Right.
They're going to go on the web and they're going to research you at the end of the day. And if you don't have like the tools that Mike has, and you don't have the door opening, you got to have something tangible and physical right at the beginning. That's direct. You got to have the web presence, which helps build the credibility, and it's a whole hell of a lot cheaper than a $3,000 book. And then you follow it up by continuing to follow up. Call them, leave a message, send them an email, do a webinar, go to your library, and rinse, repeat, and do it again and again. And that will produce listings. Simple as that.
Lee, let's do this. We've been on a few minutes now. We've rapped about some short sales and talked about both of our kind of what we do and marketing and stuff like that. Let's ask any agents out there who are on this live call here any questions they might have for either myself or Lee. You can direct them towards either one of us or just both of us, and let's talk about short sales and where things are going right now. How about that?
Absolutely, and I'll stress this because I'm sure there are people that I've trained along the way that found me awful and crazy and whatever. If I rub you the wrong way, I apologize in advance, and you are certainly able to send that question and go, Lee's crazy. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Great questions already here, Lee. Let's rock and roll these. One, somebody asked, what is the Vortex web address and password? Now, Lee, they can access that on Honish.com, right?
Right.
The Vortex
and click on the Vortex
program there.
There's a Vortex header.
And then they're going to click on, where do they click when they're on the Honish site?
At the very top of the page, there's a header. At the very top of my page, there's a header link that says Vortex. Trademark.
Vortex right there, and that's on
right
Honish, HONISH.com. You click on it, and the password, which already logged in, so I'm already...
You click on Vortex Login.
It's login right there.
And it'll probably go straight in. But the password is Vortex Marketing.
Vortex
I generally
Marketing.
sell
Very
it.
good.
When I'm in the mood to sell it, usually I just do it as a bonus for most of my programs. I spend a lot of hours on it, and I gave it to... But this is a true story. I gave it to a guy who does marketing, and I showed him everything I compiled, and he's like, you should be charging $1,000 for that. I said, why? It's all free stuff. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'll put a value to it, but I mean, that's insane.
Here's something. We got a great question. Now, I'm going to answer this first, and then I'm going to let Lee answer it as well for his own thing, because this is something that either one of us could answer, and it's always a great question. I just kind of got asked this in some regards yesterday. Because what it was I was telling agents, hey, if you have a CDP advanced site, if you're part of that program, drop it now. You're getting ripped off. And somebody was very defensive, who really appreciated the designation. And I wanted to, I really had to kind of compare apples to apples and show them what they were getting. Somebody just asked, though, how does your training website compare to CDPE? So I'm going to answer that first. And I'm going to go and talk about because, they're good at just a basic training designation. If you don't know anything about short sales and you just want to know what one is in the basic stuff, they came up with a good little program. Now, if you talk to, I'm not going to throw any names out there, but let's just say a woman who's doing a webinar who used to be a former employee of that institute, says the reason why she left that institute after being a training was because she wasn't allowed to talk. She was not allowed to talk and teach about current market practices. That's her reason for leaving that institute, because all of that designation is approved by all of the boards and it's approved by associations. They aren't allowed to change it. They're not allowed to update the course material, and they're not allowed to deviate from that.
I agree.
Now, here's what we do. They're good at training. We do lead generation. That's what my company does. We're number one in the industry and always have been. For actual short sale lead generation. So here's some things that I had to really slam this guy with because he talked about how great his CDP advanced site was. And some of the things that I said, first, he was happy about all the reports on his CDP advanced site. Ask any actual web developer. They'll tell you having 30 to 40 different choices of reports for a consumer on a site is bad. That is poor lead conversion. People don't need more than 5 or 6 choices. This gets really good. People talk about CDP Advanced Marketing Program. Now, here's why that program enables you to do real marketing, and Lee will back me up on most of this. Number one, the search engines view most of those sites as spam. You can actually find, guys, check this out, because they're all generic and they're all the same, many of the home pages of those sites are de-indexed and don't even show up on the search engines. And when they do, they're titled homepage. That's the title to the entire website of those advanced websites there. Look, here's a link that I put on yesterday. Look, these are the titles. So when people actually do find you on the search engines, if by some miracle they do, that's how your site's showing up. Number two.
Wait, without getting super geeky here, I've looked at it as well, and I don't even believe it's pan to save. I think the algorithm eats up everything that's a part of those websites, the way they're structured. Well, I really do.
Well, I used to post, we used to post automated content a lot and spun content to sites for them. And you're absolutely right, Lee. The Panda and Penguin updates to Google have just destroyed those sites. They're nothing more than a generic online business card. It's really it. And here's the worst part, and this is really why. There are absolutely no social networking share buttons anywhere on those sites. That's just sad that visitors of those sites can't even share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, none of the social networking sites. That's pathetic. Of course, we have all the same resources they do. We've got a great forum. We've got these great webinars here that we're doing now. And here's the best part, guys. Look, our sites are actually customizable. We've got some that are totally unique looking, look really good, right? They're customizable. We have a marketing, and yep, here's a nice customized one right there. Not a generic looking website right here, you know? This is something unique. Here's the best parts, guys, okay, and this is what it's all about too. Our sites automatically do extremely well on the search engines, period. Here's a couple I just typed in to show you guys. Here's Fort Lauderdale Short Sale Specialist. This site is #1 on the search engines. Also, another spot that the guy has is he posted our Craigslisted Backpage ad. That's got another spot on the first page of Google, and here's a video of hers. This is the same video, YouTube video, that's framed on her site. That's also got her another spot on the first page of the search engines. Guys, Chula Vista Short Sale, highly competitive. Just for the term Chula Vista Short Sale, #1, okay? So, you know, they dominate the search engines, and I'm going to let Lee answer how his stuff is better than that in a few seconds here. We also offer a complete training course to teach you search engine marketing, lead generation, YouTube, social networking, and all that stuff too. That's all free stuff there. Like I said one more time here, you know, that's a good designation for basic training. They are not a lead generation company. They're not a social networking or SEO-based company, and that's not what they do. You know, get the right people in your life to teach you about the right things. Lee knows about lead generation and marketing. That's what he does. I do search engine optimization and internet marketing. That's what our company does. If you need a basic designation, if you want to get the basics and you don't know what to do and where to start in short sales and you just need the confidence to get started, I would suggest that program. It's good. If you want to learn how to list 10, 20, or more a month, each and every month consistently, you go to guys like me and Lee who have been teaching people how to do it for years.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Lee?
Well, I'll be less politically correct than you because I don't begrudge anybody with any system or any training technique, period, out there. Okay, if they do something that's beneficial that helps homeowners, I'm all for it. And I would completely agree with not being able to adjust the way you train. I have CE designations, continuing education, for weird places like Utah and California. You're forced to teach this very vanilla, bland package, okay? Concepts like escalation and killing files and, you know, doing all the stuff that I brought originally to the game when I brought the short sale calculator and stuff like that in. And I'll even throw this out there. I mean, I've said it a couple of times, but not on something quite this. Look, I'm the guy who taught Alex and his wife at the end of the day. And they can just defend that position all they want. I have the roll sheets. I mean, that's reality. And what he has is a very good training program for people who want to get a file in. And in my opinion, if you're closing within 4 to 6 months, then that's what you get. Okay? If you want to close in 45 to 60 days, or on average right around 60 to 90 days, you're going to have to know how to escalate and to do things that are beyond the box. And that's not very pro-bank. I don't carry relationships with the banks, but I will say that they all know who I am. They do take my calls. They do my podcast. They are all very friendly with me, because at the end of the day, I'm pro-bank. I make it very clear to everybody that if the banks don't want to do short sales, you're not doing short sales anymore. That's the bottom line to it. I'm just not interested in this pseudo-fiduciary relationship that people have created with the banks, like they're entitled to something. My job now is to protect homeowners and real estate agents. And we have now gotten into the business of protecting banks. And most of the training I've seen, and I'm not saying Alex or his program or anybody else's program, my opinion on the way it's taught is to be very safe and very PC. Great. Okay, that keeps all the lawsuits at bay. That's not the way I roll. All right, my job is to close this, get you as close to 6% as humanly possible, you know, and get you more of that type of listing. Everybody I coach in my program, I tell them right now, if you're not getting 6% on a file, you are doing something wrong. There is no inventory out there, zero, zilch, none. Okay? It's basically like getting 2 files per one. I mean, in California, some states you can't do it. I realize that because we're talking a national call. But having a dual relationship agreement in California, my agents, I tell them all the time, the ones that are here in the states that allow it, if you're not getting front end, back end, you're a fool. You're a fool in this market for not doing one open house on the weekend.
Oh,
after
yeah,
you
right
get that
now,
listing.
especially, you know, most parts of the country right now, the most distressed areas, I mean, most properties have 5-10 contracts within a few days. You know, they're falling off. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a buyer ready for every single listing that you have. I'll tell you right now, I'm looking to buy properties with cash money in my area right now, like cash, not to flip them or anything like that, just for investments. You got to have your own buyers ready to go. Yeah, that's critical too, Lee. That's a good point. Let's get on to another comment here. I know Paul Antonelli is on here. I just
Paulie! He's one of my guys.
Last week at NAR. Paul says, I always tell agents, SFR is like getting through the 3rd grade. CDPE is like graduating junior high, and Lee's training is like college.
That is very sweet. I'll say for the record, I do coach Paul, and he's part of my program. And I just got off a call that Paul was on, and I was basically showing him what I call the fast track program. I've now gotten my monster direct marketing campaign down to, in 3 days, you should have somebody in your office. I mean, it's literally that. It shouldn't even. And that's with the holiday, by the way. I'm telling them to go out and do something today so that by Friday or even Saturday they could have somebody in their office. And I premiered that today for the first time. And they were all doing backflips. They were all really excited about it. And I'm excited for them. They should be excited. It's an easy period of time to do it. I actually feel bad that I don't get to do, and I mean this a lot, my bread and butter in the first 3-4 years in this industry of being a coach and a consultant was to work with investors and work with real estate agents and work with homeowners on how to close short sales and how the bank process worked. And, after about telling the 50,000 agent, call the CEO to close your short sale file, it's called escalation, that all becomes watered down, so you can start to find new techniques. I always thought it was funny in my mind that banks then started having mitigation escalation groups. I'm like, really? It's a whole thing. And for it not to be taught anywhere, the simple concept of going online and Googling a name, and this is what I tell my people. You go on to the Short Sale Network and you can get the name of a contact. They're out there. You can Google them. These are like easy, low-level contacts to send an email and go, hey, what's going on with my file? The buyer's thinking of blocking and the seller's thinking of filing BK. Do you really want that to happen? That simple statement via email on a file that's been sitting for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months can't be taught in a lot of settings. And it's frustrating to me. I'm a bank guy. I'm telling you straight up. You're talking about a mitigator who's taking a call from a real estate agent who's got 100 to 300 files. They're burned out. They're angry. They're not happy people. They're yelled at all day by real estate agents. And I know some of you are going, boo-hoo-hoo. So here's boo-hoo-hoo to all of you who think that, you know, the people at the bank are awful. They're the only game in town. That's the only, there are no REOs, all right? And if you think you're going to walk to somebody with equity and try to convince them to sell in a flat market, flat, the percentage of increase is flat. It's 0.5% growth over the year. And that was by freezing REOs. That's all it did. It just stopped the bleeding by turning off the REOs. That means that if you put a single REO onto the market almost, you're going to rip a hole in the bottom and drop this market again. That's all it did by freezing the Freddie and Fannie stuff. That's the truth. And you can, I did a podcast on this, and I broke it down in finite detail, where the Fed basically said there's like 0.5% growth quarter to quarter, and you know, people are looking at numbers compared to 2007, and I don't want to get into a big thing about Lawrence Yu and NAR. Their job is to make it look good for the realtors. It's a multi-billion-dollar business to keep people doing this for a living. But the reality for you on this call, you're looking for a solution. And instead of listening to everything that's at the door, right, I need this training, I need this, I need that, it's just really as simple as taking an action or taking advantage of, you know, a dollar program or something. You know, it's astounding to me. I mean, I'm constantly astounded by it. It's a big bird in my saddle.
All right, so here's a couple questions here. Let's get some more here. Sort of Severiano Fernandez just asked, you know, this is a question towards me, obviously. I can't get my site to show up in Google. What do I do? You know, you have a short sale lead machine site. I look at your site, and what I want to encourage you to do, you know, is to use our free training program on here to teach you how to do lead generation and how to optimize your site for success. I see you're missing the free YouTube video commercial on there. You want to watch all of these videos on here. You know, add your site to Google Maps, Google Places. That's something I didn't see when I just checked Google. You haven't.
I'm gonna get.
You know, you got to go through this stuff and do these things on here. Optimize it for success on the search engines. Really look at this stuff, and this is how your site's going to get a little bit better on the search engines. And if you don't have time to do this, check out our gold package. You know, the sites that I showed you, they are really kicking butt if you do the gold package. I mean, they're really doing very, very good. They're very effective. But you can do the stuff yourself, you know. I have another question here. I'm going to give this agent a little nugget, and then I'm going to let Lee give him a nugget. She said, I am a CDP, SFR, 5-star, etc. I'm on the top of Google, but I want more leads. And she also said, what do you offer for like myself? I am licensed in Northwest Ohio and Utah. Cindy Kell. Oh, she also asked package fees. Are they monthly or one-time? That's a one-time fee for like a gold package. And we do all this junk here, okay? One-time fee. But another thing that I missed, I didn't see this on Lee's training either, but it's very effective. I've done it a lot myself, are bandit signs for short sales. Now, this is effective if you're in an area where there's highly distressed markets. New home construction is very dense and things like that. But to actually go and get some signs made up, similar to the old traditional we buy houses bandit signs, only you can put short sale specialist realtor, free help on them. And go do them in bulk. Go put 50 or 100 of them out, or hire somebody for $10 an hour to go run around and do it for you. And you'll get a few listings from that. You know, I mean, the return is probably, you know, you put out 100 signs, you get 2 to 4 listings. You know, is that worth it for $300? I think so. So that's one little simple way that a lot of people aren't teaching, a lot of people aren't doing, but it's very effective. And you can also put, like Lee said, you can also put part of his marketing system teaches you how to put an opt-in phone number on there for text messaging. That's effective. Put your website on the signs. Usually the phone number is extremely effective too. You know, you can put a sign up there, Lee, I'm sure you'll agree, those are effective from what I hear. Stop foreclosure now with a call, da-da-da-da-da, with a phone number, and those are good lead capture tools for opt-in texts and things like that as well. Do you have any simple advice for Cindy about how to just get more leads?
Well, you know, again, at the end of the day, and I mean this sincerely, I avoid, because I've tried the bandit signs. Again, to me, things that have that really ridiculously low response rate of, and that's the truth. I mean, well, there's an ROI on it. I'm not going to disagree with you at all, Mike. It's got an ROI on it, so it makes sense. Bandit signs do work right off the side of the freeway. It's always trying to find the right key message to get them. To me, the most effective use of time for real estate agents, because really at the end of the day, they're not used to making the physical interaction. It's truth, the real truth, the real bottom line truth to this whole thing. Agents are used to getting the referral. They're used to just getting the lead. It's done. It's over. You need to use really specialized criteria, and you need to go address the homeowner in their home. You need to use a direct campaign that identifies 15 people that are up for a sale date, or that actually have an energy, or that are 30, 60, or 90 days delinquent, and to bring a message directly to them, and just start that simple follow-up campaign and let it drip out listings for you. I mean, it's cheaper in the long run to do it that way than there are immediate fixes. I'm not going to lie about that. Bandit signs, you can get a home run. Cold calling, if you keep at it long enough, I guarantee that's 100% free, excluding your phone bill, but eventually you're going to happen across somebody, I'm sure, who's receptive to a message. If you're out physically door knocking with the script and doing the I'm awesome, you know, routine, because that's what agents do. And I don't know why they do that, but the hi, hire me, I'm awesome, I'm, you know, here I am. If you do it long enough, you'll have a result. You can buy commercials. I'm sure it'll have a result. You can get magazines. You can buy books. You can do all of these things. The numbers and return on investment, you can always find a balancing mathematical point. But at the end of the day, what's the quickest, fastest, most painless route? I mean, going directly to very specific data, right? Going to visit 15 or 20 homeowners in a day, using a technique that will create a permission-based funnel that I can follow up, that they're receptive to hearing. Okay, they're really facing a sale date or a real NOD. And getting them, you know, get 2 listings in 3 days. How do you beat getting 2 listings in 3 days? I don't even understand. There's like no mindset beyond that. I mean, I always promise people who join my Monster program, which was originally called the Guinea Pig Group, which was originally called the Kool-Aid Drinkers. Look, if you're getting a listing per month, you're doing great. But the numbers were much greater than that, so people turned it on and off and got the numbers that they wanted. I have agents that have 40 or 50 listings, and they keep their numbers there. I know agents who have 4 to 10 listings, and that's the number they want to work. When you can turn on and off marketing on demand at the level that you want, that is the best kind of marketing. Do you want signs out there? Sure. I mean, I'll give you the easiest of all time, which is, why aren't you putting a for sale sign in front of your own home with a flyer box? To me, when somebody told me that technique for the first time, I thought it was like the Holy Grail. I mean, you own a house or you live in a house and you've got a for sale sign out in front of it that's going to generate a buyer call list. It seems simple to me. Why don't people just go on Craigslist or Backpage and put in a dummy listing for a brand new house at X amount of price and take those buyer up calls? If this is strictly about leads, you can generate them forever. And you can do it cheap to free. What Craigslist Backpage is about $1 a listing or something? I mean, you get it for free.
Look at this ad on Backpage right here. I just Googled Orlando short sale specialist. Backpage is so good on the search engines as well. Here's an ad that's free with the short sale lead machine program. All you got to do is just copy and paste this content onto Craigslist or Backpage, and it's done, and it leads people to your site. And that's free. So, Lee, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, activity breeds activity.
I will give you the easiest one I can think of before I forget it, and it's on the Vortex. Why aren't agents in Yelp?
Yelp is great. Absolutely, you got to get some reviews for your or
spend the $300 and let them put a commercial together for you and put you at the top of their search engine if you really want to spend money. I mean, it's like $300 or $600 a month or whatever it is. But if somebody looks for a real estate agent in your area, you're at the top of the page.
Right. Absolutely. It's important too, get multiple spots on the first page. I got so far ahead in this business because I did so much internet marketing. I had every spot on the first page of the search engines. And Lee, this is critical too. I'm sure you'll agree is, look, you're busy. You should be getting systems in place, guys, to where you can list. It is all about delegating and duplicating your services and building a team eventually to where you can just, it works like a machine. It's so important to get systems in place that get your phones ringing. And like Lee said, too, you can literally flip a switch and control how many listings you have. It really is.
Rainmaker.
It is that simple if you get some systems in place. So look, one or two more questions, and we're going to end here because Lee, a couple comments for you here. Okay, let's get into here.
Was that a bad comment that you were afraid to read?
No, this is something that we talked about the other day, and I want you to comment on it. Somebody said, I tried Vortex Marketing Password, and it did not work. Esperanza, just try it again because I tried it a second ago. Vortex, V-O-R-T-E-X, marketing, Vortex Marketing. That should log you into that. Also, Severiano, for the bandit signs, he asked what text to put. I put the words, this is what I put on mine that worked decent. Short sale specialist realtor, free help with the phone number. Big 18 by 24 signs. You always want to make bandit signs yellow background with black font. That's key. Yellow background gets people's attention. They say that's one of the colors that you always use. Okay, Lee, you're going to get this one.
Hold on real quick for Michael Cipriano, who I guess is the last one. Again, somebody else along the way. The other one that works is Loan Mod Guide or whatever. Click here, put your website. Don't be afraid to talk about loan mods because the loan mod is the conversion to the short sale as well.
It is as well. That's absolutely. Okay. Program HR 3468 has a follow-up system, but they charge $1,500 at closing. They gave you leads. Too expensive, David Hero said.
Yeah,
do you have any thoughts on that? Or
I do, and I want to be politically correct because I don't need any more cease and desist from organizations. They sell NOD leads, period. Free NOD leads. And if they want to take me to court and drag me in on this one, I'm down for this game. I know for a fact, okay, that the only delinquencies you can buy from a lead source right now are 31-day lates. You can't get 60, 90s, or any kind of quality data. The only thing that's available out of the credit bureaus to those companies that provide it are 31-day lates. Okay, so they're promising you pre-NOD leads. Okay, they're NOD leads. I've had people join this program, and everybody that I've talked to has gotten an NOD lead. I have even gotten hate mail because apparently some people thought that I was endorsing it. I've never endorsed their product. I don't believe in the way that they convert, and if they've got a problem with that, I guess they can, whatever. I think it's a joke. I think it's a joke, and I think it's a clever name. Look, I'll tell them this. They're the best marketers I've ever seen because they came up with a program and an idea that gives you the impression that it's something special. It's not even, I can go on Foreclosure Radar for $40 a month and get the same leads. Straight
Absolutely. Up. You hit the nail on the head. They just put a all they did is get a pig and put it in a really pretty dress. You can pay $10 for that pig, or you can buy it with the dress for $50. But I'll take the pig without a dress for $10. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You can buy that pig all over the place. So we've got a couple questions. I'm going to answer this one regarding gold packages, short sale lead machine. Okay, to sign up for that, look, this is where you go to www.shortsalehosting.com. Now, to set up your site, I want to correct Lee, it is $1 for the first month and $59 a month if you stay in the program. We strongly encourage you to spend $15 a year to get your own domain name. One-time fee of $15, okay? If you want to buy a marketing package, those are one-time fees. We have $295 or $495. You can click on marketing packages there. We have a marketing packages tab right up at the top here. Let me move the questions thing out of the way. You guys can't see the questions part. All right, let me see. You have the marketing packages here. Now, the marketing package, again, that is a one-time fee. It's not monthly. There is no monthly charge. What we do is we go in and we do all of this stuff for $295 or all of this stuff for $495, which, by the way, it's getting bumped up to $595 in a week or two, so get it now. But you can get all this. It's a one-time fee. You can. The best way to do it is you can order it right here online. You know, you can just click Buy Now and get one now and add it to your site, or give us a call, 800-210-5231, 800-210-5231, or email helpdesk@theshortsaleguide.com. That's helpdesk@theshortsaleguide.com. We've been on this a while. This has been a good long call, but I'll tell you what, we are going to have Lee back again sometime soon.
Real quick for your people, just because I know they're going to jump over to the Monster Marketing page because I have talked about it. If you click on that Monster link, the third one down, which is the actual landing page, which you can get to from my website, and you'll look at it and it'll show you step by step and how to do it. You can sign up for it there. That'll take you to a PayPal for $497. If you look over on your right, Mike, there on the chat bar, I sent you a PayPal link that I just created for today's call. I'll take $100 off. I don't do monthly fees. I don't do anything. Once you're into my program, you're in. So it's $397. It's normally $500. And it's over in you'll see it over in the chat bar on the right-hand side. If you want to send that out to everybody, you guys can get $100 off the Monster, and I'll set that up for the next day or so. But if you go onto my actual website,
back up. Where can we get that link in the questions or our chat here? Oh, okay. Here it is. Ooh, where can I put this link? You know where I'm going to put this link right here because I'm not. I got to head out and I can't email everybody right now. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put this on the short sale guide real quick.com where you guys can access this. Here, let me. For some reason, it won't let me copy and paste it. There it goes. All right. All right. So go ahead, Lee, and I'm going to put this somewhere where they can access it.
Great, and that'll give you a $397 cost. I mean, I'm doing it for you guys. That's so you guys can get in. Normally it's $500. It's the holidays.
Merry Christmas.
And I'm going to close the program pretty soon. I'm moving into. I'm much like you, Mike. I'm happier being a consultant and a coach, and just getting listings for people and doing one-on-ones and the whole individual coaching thing is quite tiring. It's much easier just to go and build lead engines for people. It's much more time effective for me. I like spending time back by the beach.
Amen to that too. All right, discount code. So where you can get this at, guys? This is again for $397. Is that right, Lee, for the program?
Yeah, that's correct. That's
if you go to
you can buy it at $397.
Our free social networking site, theshortsaleguide.com. Everybody should be a member of that. That's on the call. It's outstanding. Great place for escalations too. We've got this link right here, though. It's in the chat. That's at the bottom of the home page. See, we're on theshortsaleguide.com. Theshortsaleguide.com. This is for Lee's stuff here. And you scroll all the way down. If you're logged in, you might not even have to be logged in to access the chat. But go ahead and get on here, and you've got a link to this right now. And, again, you can get this for $100 off. Or you can also go to Lee's site. His main hub site is Honish.com. And also,
or you can search me, and guess what? You'll find me line 1, no matter what.
There you go, Lee Honish. And there's also defaultadvocate.org if anybody's interested in the training designation. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you want to sign up for any of these other ones, they're only available for replay for people that are part of the Short Sale Lead Machine program. But you can sign up for the live ones. Anybody can right now. They're on the homepage of theshortsaleguide.com. Great names coming up here in the future. But I can't wait to get Lee back. Lee, I want to thank you once again for doing this with us.
I want to thank you.
And hopefully we can get you on the 2013 Short Sale Symposium at Sea Cruise Conference. That's up the road a little bit here too. Again, Lee, thanks so much, and I look forward to doing one of these again with you soon. Everybody, thanks for participating in this. Have a great weekend. Have a great Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you folks soon. Bye-bye.